whatsoever. Basically what happened is Musk came in, he hired a group of young tech bros, and they hacked the informational and the financial pipelines of government. And they worked out the low-hanging fruit, people who had less job protections because they'd been in the job for only a short period of time, and they sent out these notices which looked like spam emails. And I've seen some of these notices. They literally look like they were sent by chatbots. And they sent out these emails saying, you're being fired as of 5 p.m. today because you no longer meet the government needs, or you're being fired because of poor performance. Well, most of the people being fired didn't have poor performance reviews. In fact, most of them had good performance reviews. But Trump and his DOGE people, the hatchet men of DOGE, basically were looking for any and every excuse to fire public civil servants. Now, these were workers who were working IRS telephone lines, so that if you or I or any of your audience had a problem with taxes, they could phone in and get advice. They were people who were staffing the Social Security and Medicare offices. They were people who were providing weather forecasting information so that farmers knew when to plant crops and airlines knew when to modify their schedules in the face of storms. And all of that stuff started being shredded in this insane purge that DOGE launched in January of last year.
Yeah. Dan?
Okay, so I have a random question. DOGE.
I like random questions.
Thank you. I feel like you and I are the same person. DOGE claimed to reclaim $5.2 billion in savings, quote unquote, and then allegedly. And then we were supposed to be getting checks. I'm still waiting for that one.
$5,000 checks.
But when
I really wouldn't hold your breath on that one.
Yeah, but now, like me, I used to be an auditor. The devil is in the details, and it was 1.2 billion. So it's like, oh yeah, DOGE saved 5 point.
Well, look, I mean, when they came in, their ambitions were way more than $5 billion. When they came in, Musk basically said, we can save hundreds of billions of dollars. We're going to cut red tape. We're going to fire all the unnecessary people. We're going to get rid of all foreign aid. Well, it turned out foreign aid was nowhere near as big as MAGA thought it was, but it was a very valuable investment because it generated huge goodwill around the world to America. But we got rid of all our foreign aid. We got rid of the ability to vaccinate kids in poor countries. We got rid of the ability to distribute tuberculosis medications or to look out for the next pandemic. We did all of those things because the world's richest man, Elon Musk, said we can no longer afford this. And then they said, we're going to do all of this and the savings are going to be so spectacular, we're going to balance the federal budget. Well, they haven't balanced the federal budget. They haven't made savings of hundreds of billions. They haven't even made savings of tens of billions. What they did is they created all kinds of ridiculous red tape.
Right.
So some of the things they did were completely insane. They said to federal workers who had workplace credit cards, we're going to limit your workplace credit card spending to $1 per day.
Oh.
Well,
yeah.
What are you going to do with $1 a day? You can't even buy a subway ticket.
Right.
You certainly can't get an airplane ticket to go and do a workplace inspection.
I'm
or
correcting
to investigate
myself.
corruption that's going on.
I'm correcting myself.
This stuff was completely crazy.
Yes, it was $52.8 billion that they were supposed to save.
Oh.
And it was actually after
happened,
it was 1.4. That was that. So I'm great.
Here's what I'd say. Look, I mean, if you really want to think about what DOGE was about, it was never about saving money.
Nope.
What it was about was taking down the parts of government that Trump didn't like, which were to do with regulating workplaces so that workers would have better safety, to do with monitoring the environment so we could actually plan for climate change, to do with public health, because MAGA is inherently suspicious of public health policy. It was to do with social justice and economic justice. So now we no longer have an education department investing in trying to get poor kids up to speed in schools. None of this was about saving money. It was all about dismantling the better parts, the social justice parts of government. If you really want to save money, look, I'm visiting from California, but you guys in Chicago, you had ICE in your city as an occupation force for weeks and weeks and weeks a few months ago. Minneapolis today has ICE as an occupation force doing the most horrendous things in broad daylight. If you really want to save the government money, dismantle Trump's paramilitary force. because it was given tens of billions of dollars. That's how you save the government money, not by depriving poor kids of an access to equal education, not by getting rid of phone lines so that old people have to wait longer for questions about Social Security. None of this was about saving money. All of it was about reinventing government away from social services and toward the national security state that Trump is now implementing.
All the things that Sasha Abramsky has said. Sasha, can you remind folks about the work you're doing, the book you've written about DOGE?
Yeah, so the book is called American Carnage. And actually, I'd urge my audience to come tomorrow. The reason I'm in Chicago, I'm doing a speech sponsored by New Lines magazine at Nighthawk on North Kimball Avenue at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And I'd be delighted to have a large audience there. So come and I'll tell you all about the book. But in the meantime, I'll tell you a little bit.
We're not done. Just so you know, we're not done with you. Just so you know.
I found 11 federal workers, and I wanted them to be people all across the country. I didn't just want it to be a cluster of people in D.C. I wanted it to be men and women, black and white. I wanted it to be young and old, senior and junior. And so I found people who represented different demographics. I found a young guy in Seattle working for the IRS. I found a very senior figure at USAID who'd been put on administrative leave literally within 2 days of Trump getting into office. I found people at the CDC in Atlanta who were working on vital public health campaigns around smoking, who were told that their work was no longer necessary.
Yeah.
I found somebody in the Forest Service who was fired just before fire season got underway. And I could go on, but there were 11 people, and each of them had these absolutely heartbreaking stories. I think for me the most heartbreaking is maybe Natasha Miles, who's this 53-year-old atmospheric scientist. She'd migrated over from academia to the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. She's driving across country from Pennsylvania to take up her new job in Boulder, Colorado. And 1 hour out of town, she's driven 2,000 miles. She's been on the road for 5 days. 1 hour outside of Boulder, she gets a phone call from her boss saying, "You've got to check your email." And she pulls over to the side of the road, and she checks her email, and she finds that she's been told as of 5 o'clock that day, she's been fired. And this is a woman whose entire life was upended. She was middle-aged, she had health care issues, and she needed the health insurance. And suddenly she's 2,000 miles from home. She has no income. She has no health insurance. She has nobody to tell her how to navigate the process because everybody at NOAA was being fired. And I just thought, what a scandalous way to treat another human being. I mean, these are the most powerful people on earth. Trump, Musk, and their acolytes. They have an ungodly amount of power, and instead of using it for the social good, they're using it to beat up on people like Natasha Miles. And I felt this great compulsion to tell their story, and so that's where the book comes from.
Well, and to that, we're going to take a break here and come back and continue our conversation. You mentioned Norquist and this idea of basically drowning our federal government, the bureaucracy, seeing these individuals as somehow like obstacles to what they wanted to achieve. I want to talk more about that when we come back. We are talking to our guest, Sasha Abramsky. Remind folks the name of the book that you've written and where they can find it.
So the book is called American Carnage, How Trump, Musk, and DOGE Butchered the U.S. Government. It's published by OR Books, OR Books. And so you can find it in bookstores. You can find it online via the OR Books catalog. You can find it on Amazon. But the book is available. It hit the bestseller list in Los Angeles last week. I'd love to build momentum and make it a bestseller in Chicago as well.
And by the way, folks, it's SashaAbramsky.com as well. So go to Sasha Abramsky, that's Abramsky, for more information about the work that he does. And again, what DOGE did, why it's relevant to, I want to know why you've taken on authoritarianism. And by the way, to plant a seed of your career and have this manifest is wild. So let's take a break. Not wild in a like fun way, but screaming in my head kind of way. So thank you for the work that you do. Again, Sasha Abramsky, cool. Freelance journalist and author. Dan Schaefer joins me in the studio as we continue our conversation on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150 in Seattle. Our sponsors, Pride Coffee Roasters. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com, source.solar, and MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. More in a moment on WCPT. Thank you for being here.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive.
I have officially been behind the microphone for 6 years here at WCPT, and I really want to thank you. It has been a new lease on life parts of my brain that were asleep woke up again to talk politics with you.
Joan Esposito, weekday afternoons 2 to 5 on WCPT 820.
Horowitz and Associates. Where did Cliff Horowitz learn to argue? At the dinner table with his dad. And his father was a great arguer, a great trial lawyer. And as Cliff got older, he began to win some of those arguments. Cliff became a trial lawyer and won some of the largest personal injury verdicts in Illinois history. From the dinner table to the courtroom, Cliff Horowitz and his firm at Horowitz Law continue winning important arguments for hardworking families. If you're hurt on the job, call 312-800-8000 or go to horowitzlaw.com.
Hey Progressives, it's Richard Chu, host of Chu's Views weekdays 6 to 8 a.m. Central. We're all anxious for the 2026 midterm election to arrive so we can restore some sanity and much-needed oversight to our government. In fact, it's the most important midterm election in American history, and Chu's Views will be in the thick of it, bringing you candidate interviews on a regular basis. I'll be talking to Democratic Party hopefuls running for House and Senate at the federal and state level, as well as candidates for governor and other state and local offices.
I am in love with our ability to fight for our rights, to fight for our future, to fight for our freedoms, to fight as our ancestors fought. It's just our moment. This is just our time to stand up and to speak up. We can't give up on this.
If you miss any of the interviews live, you'll be able to find them all on WCPT's Candidate Interviews page at heartlandsignal.com/candidates. That's Choose Views weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. on WCPT, Chicago's progressive talk for 20 years.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
Welcome back to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
And we are so thrilled you're here. We will cover the Senate forum that we had earlier today in just a little bit because we want to continue this conversation with our guest. On the line with us right now is Sasha Abramsky, who is a freelance journalist and author, and he's written about the work that DOGE has done. And some of the stories that he's learned about individuals that were targeted by Elon Musk and his DOGE. I don't even know how to phrase it, Sasha. Really, I mean, when they came in, they said they were going to find fraud. And we've seen the effects of that with what happened in Minnesota, right? With the violence. That was the entire, I think, catalyst there, wasn't it? There was fraud.
There were these right-wing social media influencers who developed a bee in their bonnet about fraud in Minnesota. And they started writing about fraud in Minnesota, and they started targeting the Somali community in particular. And Donald Trump basically picks up from the latest social media whisperer in his ear, and Trump decided he was going to launch this huge sort of pogrom-like action against immigrants in Minnesota. And he sent in 3,000 armed agents. So to put that in perspective, the entire Minneapolis police force is only 600 people. So they sent in a force heavily armed, masked, with the permission to go in and basically kidnap people off the street. They sent in a force that was 3 times as large as the city's police force into Minneapolis. No surprise, they ended up with protesters protesting them. And then we all know what happened. First, Renee Good was shot in the face and killed. And then Alex Pretty was beaten senseless by 6 to 8 agents, and then 2 of those agents stepped back and they shot him 7 to 10 times in the back. I mean, this is Trump's vision from 10 years ago.
Yes.
Trump said in 2016, I could shoot someone in broad daylight on Fifth Avenue and I wouldn't lose my support. And 10 years later, he's realizing it. He didn't pull the trigger in Minneapolis, but his armed agents did and were then told by the federal government that they would have absolute immunity. Well, that's not anything compatible with a democracy. That is autocracy on steroids. That is an autocratic leadership that thinks it can shed citizen blood with no consequences.
Yeah, believe me, that's my sense of things. Let me ask you this, because this is the work you've been doing for a while. You've taken individual stories. You've been writing about authoritarianism. Where are we in the broad spectrum of your understanding and your research in this area? What is it going to take from Americans to stand up to this situation?
It's going to take a mass movement of an engaged citizenry. And we're seeing this in Minneapolis. We're seeing this extraordinary heroic resistance where non-violent individuals are coming out by the tens of thousands in sub-zero temperatures in the snow, and they are confronting armed agents who have shown a willingness to fire their weapons. And they are being fearless. And it's an extraordinary example for the rest of the country. And what you're seeing in Minneapolis is the federal government is on its heels because it knows exactly what this looks like. It knows exactly how unpopular it is outside of the MAGA base. And that's what it's going to take, a sustained, coordinated mass movement of non-violent citizens, non-violent residents, willing to say, this is not the America we want to live in. We don't want to live in Stephen Miller's vision of America, where might is right. We don't want to live in a vision of America where white is right. We don't want to live in a vision of America where immigrants are definitionally considered to be the enemy within, or the federal government's workforce is considered to be the enemy within, or transgender people are considered to be the enemy within. It's an extraordinary sort of devolution of our civil society. We now have a United States president reposting social media posts showing the Obamas with the body of an ape. That's unthinkable. Unthinkable that in the 21st century, in the most diverse country on earth, this is the level of political discourse coming out of the White House.
Yeah, and so I hate thinking this question, but are we at the point of like the Boston Tea Party or like where people are feeling that they're not being represented? I will say, I am not condoning any violence in any way, shape, or form.
Dan, can I say this? The moment that Alex Preddy was shot, I thought of Crispus Attucks.
But also, I want to point out the fact that that man was illegally carrying a firearm. He was disarmed and then executed. At what point are we at that point is my question. And you are way smarter than I am. And so I want your perspective on that.
I mean, I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that for decades now, the right wing in America has made gun ownership a litmus test. They will not support any candidate who doesn't support untrammeled gun ownership. They will not support any judge who doesn't support untrammeled gun ownership. And lots of people, myself included, have said, look, this is crazy because we're having one mass shooting after another after another. Surely we should revisit the idea of gun control. But the right wing has said, no, it's a fundamental right. It's the most important right that Americans have. It's the right to carry guns. Well, Alex Preddy was doing exactly what the right wing said he had an absolute right to do. He was carrying a licensed firearm. He wasn't using that licensed firearm. He wasn't threatening officers with that licensed firearm. He was carrying a gun in a way that the right wing has said every American has a constitutional right to do. And then he was shot in broad daylight. And everybody in the country saw that. And then afterwards, Miller and Noem and Trump and all these others got up and lied to every American who had just seen this and said, actually, you didn't see a man being assassinated in the street. What you saw was a man trying to kill ICE agents. Well, that was nonsense. It was complete and utter nonsense. He had been beaten. He was lying on the ground senseless. The two agents stepped back and they cold-bloodedly executed him. Everybody in the country saw those videos. There was no ambiguity about it. And so this idea that the government can now demand that you don't see what you saw and don't hear what you heard, it's Orwellian. So in answer to your question, Dan, I don't know where we are on this authoritarian moment. I don't know how the public is going to respond to it. But I do know that millions and tens of millions of people saw what they saw and were absolutely repulsed by it. And you've seen support for ICE collapsing in the opinion polls in the wake of that.
I want to talk to you again. Would you mind joining us at some point? I know you're traveling right now and you're signing books.
Patty, I'd be delighted to. I've enjoyed the conversation. I'll come on whenever you want me.
So it's Sasha Abramsky who's written American Carnage, How Trump, Musk, and DOGE Butchered the U.S. Government, which we know. I have so many more questions, but we've run out of time. So you're in Chicago right now?
I am, and as I said, I'm doing a conversation tomorrow with New Lines Magazine, and it's at 3 o'clock, and it's at a place called Nighthawk, which I think is on North Kimball Avenue. Excellent, folks. Please visit the website, SashaAbramsky.com. That's S-A-S. Actually, Patty, let me just interrupt you. That website that is a non-functional website at this point. Look me up on Blue Sky. Blue Sky. Sasha Abramsky at Blue Sky. Oh, I'm the same way. PattiVasquez.com is also non-functioning. Find Sasha Abramsky on Blue Sky, my friends. And the event is tomorrow with New Line at, you said 3 p.m.? 3 p.m. It's sponsored by New Line. It's at a place called Nighthawk. Nighthawk. This book is important for all of us. Here's the thing. Before we let you go, unfortunately, the people who will read this book are the ones that believe what you're trying to write. It's the ones that are all in on DOGE. They still believe they're going to send us a check. They still obviously believe that Somalis are to blame for what's wrong in this country or in Minneapolis. I hope that you can cut through the noise, and I appreciate the work you're doing as the daughter of a 25-year federal government employee who was a computer programmer for Y2K. My mother is a Mexican-American. She's a Mexican immigrant. One of my favorite people. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So seriously, the work you're doing is so vital. So thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you. Of course. And let's get you on again whenever your time allows. But thank you for the work you're doing. Have a great evening and enjoy Chicago. It's not too bad. It's 40 degrees. This is balmy, my friend. I'm loving it. It's one of my favorite cities. Well, you're one of our favorite people now. We appreciate that. Have a good night, my friend. Take care. Thank you. Thank you. Let's take a break here. We'll continue our conversation. The phone lines are open, 773-763-9278. We're in studio with guest co-host Dan Schaefer. We'll talk about the Senate debate or forum. It's a forum. It wasn't a debate. It felt like a debate. It was a forum. Forum debate-ish. Forum debate-ish. More after this on WCPT 820, Heartland Signal, and KKNW 1150.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Scattered light snow showers early tonight, otherwise cloudy with a low temperature of 11, and winds out of the north at 15 to 30 miles an hour. On Saturday, sunshine with a high temperature of 24 degrees and north winds at 5 to 10. Sunday, partly sunny with a high temperature around 30. Monday, sunshine with a high of 43. Tuesday, we'll see a slight chance of rain with a high temperature of 44. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 34.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter. Stephanie Miller.
I get to say my favorite sentence in the entire world. Here comes Kathy Griffin, hero of democracy. Hello.
How are we going to do this? Because I know we're both going to want to talk at the same time because it's a love fest. I am so in love with you. You are so important and wonderful and funny and brilliant, and you are who I aspire to be. When I grow up, I want to be you.
No, you.
Stephanie Miller, weekday mornings 8 to 11 on WCPT 820.
Interested in debt-free education? It's one benefit of apprenticeship with Plumbers Local 130 UA of the greater Chicagoland area. These days, high school seniors need to rethink going to a four-year college and creating debt with no plan in sight. Students and their parents need to think about learning a trade that pays you to learn and create a career. Being part of Plumbers Local Union 130 UA achieves those goals. As an apprentice, you receive great wages, great benefits, including medical, dental, prescription drug, vision, and hearing. No college debt, 2 pensions, and access to union wellness centers and eye care with 0 deductibles and 0 copays. Admission to the Plumbing Apprenticeship Program ends February 13th or with the first 2,000 submissions. Applicants have to be 18 years old and have a high school diploma or a GED certificate. See the full list of requirements and qualifications and apply for your future now at apply.jac130.org.
WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
Union Strong Chicago continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversity Beer, Wine, and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine, and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
Welcome back to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive home. Okay, Dan, can we take a breath here? Dan Schaefer joining me in the studio.
Let's please take a breath.
So we went from a debate, of a forum for the candidates for the Senate seat of Illinois to just jumping into an author who was talking about authoritarianism and DOGE and all those things. I probably should have scheduled this differently so that we could like decompress a little bit, do a little bit of triage.
It's your show.
But you were there. How did you feel today about the Senate debate? Forum. Not debate. Yes, forum.
Yep, forum. It was interesting. One of my favorite parts about it is that I had people walking up to me and be like, "Wait, you're
the Dan Schaefer.
You're the Dan Schaefer." And I was like, I was like, depends on who. It depends on who you're. So many people were like, "You're the Dan Schaefer." And I was like, "I'm not though, but okay."
Not to the Eureka population area.
No, because he's the cooler one than me. Like he's the cooler. He's smarter. Yeah. But it was interesting. I do think that all three candidates had very different opinions on we'll call it the path forward type thing. I don't agree with 2 out of the 3, but
I think you're trying to. Dan, can you take a moment? You don't owe anybody anything. So if you want to share what you thought individually about each, I shared my thoughts about each candidate.
Well,
I thought Congresswoman Robin Kelly, her response to is what's happening in Gaza a genocide? She was very affirmative, and she said yes, and here's what we need to do.
So you and I are on the same page.
Yes,
that
was an informative moment.
Honestly, I will say this one thing. I will say I walked into that forum with my person, and I walked out with not my person.
I had no person.
I'm going to say that.
I'll be honest with you. I had no person. And people like I don't consider myself necessarily like a journalist by training, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't go to Medill. I didn't go to any like the who, what, where, when, and why.
Sure.
Sometimes how. So I did take journalism in high school. That was the last time. But I honestly didn't have an opinion, and I left with an opinion. And I'm not supposed to have one, but if I'm telling you. I think that they all have strong stances on ICE, on affordability, on health care, on all these issues, taxing the rich, on campaign finance reform. But that question was telling. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Yes.
I will say your show is you will have anybody on who wants to just discuss their views, right? And you will do that in an open environment. And then it's up to any individual, any listener to have their views based on what that guest is doing, right?
Right.
I'm just saying, I walked in with one person. I'm going, no.
It was interesting. And
it was.
By the way,
and you did really, really well today.
We all did. I think the whole team here at
Joan
WCPT.
did great. Yeah, Richard did great. Everybody did really great.
All of our producers, all of our tech folks, everyone that was behind the scenes. It was incredible. And I will say this. I still think we have 3 candidates, and beyond, right? We have other.
I think there's like 6 or 7.
And I think that I don't know the rest because they haven't reached out to us, but Kevin Ryan also elevates the conversation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that we can't go wrong in this. I think that the values that we espouse will be reflected in those for the most part, right? I mean, Gaza notwithstanding, because here's the thing. I will always be out of balance. I will always be over my skis, understanding and being able to speak to what's happening between Israel and Palestine. And that's neither here nor there because I'm not making those choices. However, I do have my thoughts on them. And I would really appreciate those who are in power, who have a voice who speak for us, to do better by everyone globally.
Correct.
So let's get to our phone calls. I think we need to do, because we only have 4 minutes here, we might have to do this. Are you ready for this? Have you been here for one of these? I think we're going to do this. Every caller will have 30 seconds.
Welcome to Rapid Transmit.
And we're going to start with Jim from Chicago. You have 30 seconds, Jim.
You start with my favorite.
Yeah, first of all, Patty, nobody can outwork you. Second of all, they've given up authority. The Republican Party, the Grand Old Party, has given up reason for authority, and it's happening. The really crazy thing about it's happening about 3/4 of the earth at the moment. And at the Super Bowl, in response to Bad Bunny, they're going to put an all-white pigment turning point as a counter to it.
Yep.
Can you believe that one? Anyway, nobody can outwork you, Patty. It was a great day, and I mean this idea that the doomsday clock is within seconds of midnight. The doomsday, it's the closest to midnight it's ever been, and we know why. When you've got Kushner and this other real estate nut going around making negotiations over bilateral treaties with
doors closing.
See you later, Jim. Appreciate it. Let's get to Dave in San Francisco. You've got 30 seconds, Dave.
Oh, thanks, Patty. Yeah, I had hoped to get on with Sasha. He was talking about what was going on in Minneapolis. I was going to suggest that one of the reasons why Trump is out there, you remember the assassinations in Minnesota, and the investigations have got to be ongoing, and the more troops that are sent in there that sidelines the cops that are doing the investigation for the assassination. The other thing is the DOGE cut to the EPA. That's clearly to stifle the pollution lawsuit. I mean, if you allow those rats to get in the evidence lockers of the EPA, they could sabotage all of the evidence that's been developed against the Project 2025 crowd.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Dave.
Doors closing.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Let's get to Paul in Seattle. Paul, you've walked onto the platform. Oh, they're not closing. What's in your mind, Paul?
I was similarly, I thought two of the candidates I was more impressed with than one of them. The lieutenant governor came across, I thought, the strongest. I mean, strongest in aggressiveness. But frankly, all three of them had this kind of primary. They're just trying to defeat each other and didn't really discuss the issues that we're speaking to, other than. And I wonder if they're going to, in the general, they'll just go to the center and try to play it. So it seems kind of politics as usual to me. The lieutenant governor brought up, for instance, she's going to push up against back on corporate corruption and corporations, but then when brought up guns, did not even address the Protection of Lawful Commerce and Arms Act, the law that should be repealed that gives the gun industry carte blanche exemption over strict product liability. That's the number one thing we should do, is get rid of that stupid law that was passed in 2005. And so I thought that just to me said, you don't know the issue. Don't know the issue. It talked about another law she'd like to pass, which I frankly thought was probably something that some supporters have given her, and that's what they want passed. But this law is the one that has to go. So ding dong, Seahawks 31, Patriots 20.
Doors closing.
You know what? We're all in on the Seahawks. We're all in on the Seahawks. Go Seattle. Appreciate that, Paul. Have a good evening. Thank you so much. Let's get to our next caller. That's Karina in Chicago. Karina has a question. What's on your mind, my friend?
Yes. Hi, Karina Daniels, and I was actually at the forum today with Dan, and I was just wondering what you all thought about the exchange about whether or not Lieutenant Governor Stratton is taking corporate money.
So this is
just
an interesting
overall
question.
What your thoughts were about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there were good points made about how much money is being given to her in big swooping efforts. So I believe Congresswoman Kelly said taking $2,500 from a corporate PAC in contrast to taking $5 million from an individual, right, is a good point to make. That's what I would say to that.
Sure.
Right?
I think,
it's the label, right? So we're talking about having powerful, wealthy people having an influence on our elections. And so when we say like super PACs, or I think we might have, the question might have been phrased in a way that precluded or excluded, well, you have powerful people deciding who is going to be the next elected senator of Illinois.
Correct. I
Sure.
think that I think that the candidates did not answer it like it was like, where's the money coming from? And I think that we are at a point where it's like, where is the money coming from?
Yeah.
Type
well,
thing.
We may have edited those questions with specifics for the forum.
I was not privy to that
no one
information,
would be.
but okay.
We all submitted questions, and then they were like sort of tailored to the event.
Sure.
But I think, and I think if I had to do over again, I would have said corporate money, like we're talking about APAC or powerful organizations, and it's also individuals. Is that your question, Karina? That it's kind of like neither here nor there if it's powerful people trying to influence our elections, right? Oh,
no, did we lose?
Karina's done. No, I think she's on the. Oh, hold on a second. Sorry, Karina, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
It also just kind of felt like it was like this inside baseball conversation in between the three of them versus like being as an outsider, like being able to and not really knowing the specifics of.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Of this, like corporate versus like regular super PACs. I think it would have been helpful just to have it broken down a little bit more on the candidate side, not saying like the questioners, but on the candidate side.
That's a great point.
I think that's a really good point.
We will try to find a way to ask each candidate those questions. Sure. Thank you so much, Karina. Good to hear from you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Let's take a break here. We're in studio with guest co-host Dan Schaefer. We're going to talk to Erin Chan Ding, who's running for the District 52 Illinois State Rep seat. More after this on WCPT at 20 Heartland. Signal on KKNW 1150. Thank you for joining us.
Hey guys, this is Tara Devlin for the Political Voices Network. This is America, right? We don't do kings here. No crowns, no thrones, no authoritarian cosplay. That's why we created the No Kings American Flag pin. For the low price of $20.26, that's 2026, we're keeping our eye on the prize here. This well-crafted enamel pin is the standard 1-inch American flag lapel pin, but this one features the patriotic No Kings symbol that defines our rallying cry. It's your quiet way of signaling to other patriots that you believe in democracy, and yeah, that still matters. You can grab yours now at store.politicalvoicesnetwork.com. That's store.politicalvoicesnetwork.com. The No Kings American Flag pin. Get it now at store.politicalvoicesnetwork.com.
Stephanie Miller here. Let's talk digestion. Eat this. Don't eat that. Actually, forget that. Eat this instead. No wonder so many people feel bad after trying to eat healthy. Something we do 3 times a day can turn into a crapshoot, and we do not want to go there. Here's what I learned from the Tummy Whisperer. Even healthy eating can backfire. That's why I trust Renee Barish at Digestive Health Solutions. As a certified digestive health specialist, Renee helps people go beyond Dr. Google and figure out what's really going on. If you've cleaned your diet up with no change, or you feel worse with bloating, reflux, constipation, diarrhea, or low energy, Renee will help you make sense of it all. And without having to live on steamed vegetables and regret. With Renee's guidance, digestion can calm down, food can stop being a gamble, and your body can finally feel healthy. Visit thetummywhisperer.com or just call Renee at 847-207-2034. That's 847-207-2034. Let's get you feeling better.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you for joining us this evening on Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez. Joining me in the studio is guest co-host Dan Schaefer. We are so thrilled to be joining you after the incredible Senate forum we had at the Plumbers Local Union 130 today. And thank you to the iron workers who also supported that event. And I know that our guest on the phone has thoughts on all the organizations throughout Illinois who make sure that workers have their rights represented. Erin for Illinois.com. It's Erin Chan Ding, a candidate for District 52 Illinois State Rep, joining us on the line. Hello, how are you doing tonight, Erin?
Hi, Patty and Dan. How are you? Doing really well. Great to be on here. Thanks so much for having me.
Outstanding. So tell me a little bit about your background. You grew up in Arlington Heights?
I did. I was actually born in Arlington Heights at Northwest Community Hospital, and I grew up in Glendale Heights in DuPage County and stuck around for college, went to Northwestern, go Cats, and graduated and became a newspaper journalist. I actually worked in Detroit. And speaking of unions, I was part of the Detroit Newspaper Guild. They made me their union rep probably because I was in my 20s with no kids or responsibilities. So they said, let's put that on her. Let's have her represent us and travel all over the place. I'm a very, very proud Detroit Newspaper Guild former member and really proud to have union endorsements for this race. So I actually was first elected to local school board office in 2021. We were in the middle of COVID. We had 11 candidates. I ran unabashedly on equity in all things, didn't know how I was going to do because we're in a very purple district, and actually was the top vote getter out of 11 candidates. And then I won re-election last year to the school board, and now I'm currently, as you said, running for Illinois State Rep in the 52nd District to flip this seat from red to blue.
I love that so much. Was your family engaged civically? Like, were they, were politics discussed in your home, or was it something that kind of came to you as you were going through school?
Yeah, we were all a little bit. I'm an only child, and, my parents, from the time I was a little girl, when we used to have those punch ballots, they used to take me to, the Ullman Clubhouse in our neighborhood, and I got those sample ballots where I could punch a hole for George Washington or Abraham Lincoln. And so I think that kind of, introduced voting, the importance of voting to me at a really young age. And, my dad took me to DuPage Museum of African American History in Chicago on the South Side every single year on Martin Luther King Day. And so I learned about the Voting Rights Act and, just all the sacrifice it took for people to just really earn the right to vote and gain the right to vote, something that they should have had all along, honestly. And so, to me, that kind of civic engagement has never been lost on me, that sacrifice that, people like John Lewis and Diane Nash made, so that, and that, of course, led to the Immigration and Nationality Act in 1965 that allowed my parents to come over from Hong Kong when national origin quotas were finally busted. So always kind of watch the political conventions with my parents on the couch. And when I was an intern at the Chicago Tribune, actually in college, I was in Washington, D.C., covering Capitol Hill. And so back in those days, you could actually write a senator's name. I remember I was doing a story on, senators and their internships, and I wrote Dick Durbin's name on a piece of paper, and he came right out. And I was like, "Ooh, this is magic!" So it was good. I was 20 years old then, and never thought that I would run for office. I always thought that I would be covering politics. But here I am. I got into just some grassroots organizing with parents. I have a seventh grader now and a high school junior, and was working on some racial justice initiatives, wanted to make sure our school district is 40% students of color, wanted to make sure, our students' stories were represented throughout our school district and the curricula. And, from there, people asked me to run for school board several times until I said I would. So that's how I got engaged.
Amazing. Go ahead, Dan.
Oh, I just had a question. So, voting down ballot, right? Individuals think that, if it's a midterm or a national election, You just got to vote for the top 2 or top 3.
Ugh.
But people don't realize that when you move down the ballot, those are things, those are individuals, those are positions that actually impact your life, like more than a U.S. senator or representative or president type thing. And so just what would your advice be to individuals when they are opening the ballot, whether they're doing it by mail-in or whether they're voting in person? What would be your advice to individuals when they are checking boxes on the voting ballot?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are the positions. I mean, being on the school board, being on the village board, the library board, being state representative, these are the things that have some of the most direct impact in your daily life, right? So on the school board, we were part of implementing free full-day kindergarten in our school district. We had 3 book challenges to LGBTQ authored books, and we were 1 vote away. I helped kind of lead that fight to keep LGBTQ authored books on our public high school library shelves. So imagine, not having access to some of these educator-approved award-winning books that really reflect the life experiences of students across the district. So imagine having those pulled from our public high school library shelves, and so and those are really the positions that, where you approve referenda that enhance safety for schools, that build new auditoriums. And part of why I was so inspired, in addition to wanting to finally flip the seat, is the school board service that I've had in the last 5 years. You really begin to realize how much state legislation affects what goes on in every school district. And I thought about, this is really a chance to serve in a deep and wide and broad way. And there are things like, free full-day kindergarten that we implemented 3 years early, but that is mandated now by the state by 27-28. And I would love to do the same for early childhood education. So, yeah, my advice, Dan, is definitely study those candidates, right? Study those candidates. For me, I would hope that people go to erinforillinois.com and see why I think I'm the strongest candidate to stand up to MAGA and some of Trump's overreach. I often say, I often tell my family and my husband, I'm actually really glad Donald Trump is not on our local school board, because imagine there's a lot of havoc that's being wrought all through the country, but some of the direct havoc that you could wreak on the school board with, certain policies, it's pretty scary to think about. So, I mean, these offices are absolutely critical. So absolutely. I hope people do their research.
So we've got 30 seconds for you to give your entire pitch to our audience on why they should vote for you. It's Erin Chan Ding, candidate for District 52, Illinois State Representative. Go for it.
Yeah, that's right. And I'll spell it out for you. It's Erin, E-R-I-N, and then Chan, C-H-A-N, and then Ding like a doorbell. And, yeah, I am running because I'm the only one in the Democratic primary who has won elections in our district. I've won 2 since 2021, and my primary opponent has lost 3. So it's my belief, our district votes Democrat recently. Kamala won our district by nearly 4,000 votes. Pritzker won by 7 points. And so this is the one seat that hasn't flipped yet, and it is time to flip this seat. I have the endorsement of Tammy Duckworth, AFL-CIO, so many different labor unions, both teachers' unions, the nurses' unions, and they trust me and believe that I can win, and I'm the strongest candidate to flip the seat, and I hope voters decide that too.
And it's erinforillinois.com. That's ERIN for Illinois, all spelled out.com. Erin, go get him, my friend. You're on a great path, and we appreciate the service that you've already done for our communities and that you've taken on the challenge to run for public office in your community. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me on, Patty. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
Take care. Thank you. Let's take a break here. More conversation when we come back on WCPT 820, Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150, in studio with Dan Shaver, the host of Politini and Tuesdays with Josie, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, folks. Dr. Jason Bissell here, PhD acupuncturist and founder of Chicago Community Acupuncture at Milwaukee, Devon and Nagel. It's no secret that I love acupuncture. 25 years, and I am impressed almost every day by how effective it is for so many conditions. I want everyone to have access to it, but unfortunately, cost can be a barrier. So I founded Chicago Community Acupuncture to offer high-quality acupuncture at an affordable price, actually the lowest price in town. And I'm not alone in this desire to make it accessible. Several other fabulous acupuncturists reached out to me and have joined the Chico Maku team. We're now open 7 days a week and evenings. The first visit is only $60 and follow-ups are $50. We're doing all we can to make this accessible, so now you just do your part and call us at 773-853-0920, 773-853-0920, or go to ChicoMaku.com to schedule. Acupuncturists help billions of people. What are you waiting for?
File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. The Justice Department says a key participant in the deadly 2012 attack on the U.S. compound in Benghazi, Libya, has been taken into custody. Saka Magani has details.
The attacks on the Benghazi compound and a nearby annex killed 4 Americans.
We have never forgotten those heroes, and we have never stopped seeking justice for that crime against our nation.
Attorney General Pam Bondi says Zubair al-Bakush was brought to the U.S. this morning and will be prosecuted for the deaths. The Benghazi attacks have long been a divisive political issue, with Republicans seeking to blame the Obama administration, including Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, for faulty security at the outposts and a slow response to the attacks. Sagar Magani, Washington.
A post on President Trump's social media account depicting former President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle Obama as primates has been taken down. Congressman Al Green.
This is raw rank racism when the President of the United States of America, who knows or should know the history of this country.
On Wall Street, stocks scored their best day since May, with the Dow topping 50,000 for the first time. Says Sutel has closing numbers.
The Dow jumped 1,206 points Friday. That's about 2.5%. The Dow closed at 50,115. The S&P 500 rallied 2%. The Nasdaq Composite climbed at 2.2%. Chip companies helped lead the way higher. NVIDIA and Broadcom each surged more than 7%. Bitcoin rose back above $70,000, finding its footing after plunging for several weeks. Seth Sutel, New York.
And in Arizona, the sheriff investigating the apparent abduction of Savannah Guthrie's mother says a doorbell camera at Nancy Guthrie's home wasn't able to capture images of anyone the day she went missing. Investigators say it was disconnected early Sunday. This is AP News. Ahead of Sunday's Super Bowl, the NFL handed out its annual awards last night. Gethin Coolbaugh has a recap.
Matthew Stafford edged Drake May for the AP NFL Most Valuable Player Award. It was the closest race since Peyton Manning and Steve McNair were co-winners in 2003.
It doesn't surprise me. Drake had an unbelievable season. There were a lot of guys in that category tonight that had unbelievable years. So it's truly humbling.
The Los Angeles Rams quarterback received 24 of 50 first-place votes, while May got 23.
I play with such a great group of guys and great group of coaches that I was lucky enough to finish this season healthy and want to make sure that I go out there and see what happens next year.
Patriots coach Mike Vrabel was named Coach of the Year. Cleveland's Myles Garrett was named Defensive Player of the Year, while San Francisco's Christian McCaffrey was Comeback Player of the Year. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
And it's the Patriots Seahawks Sunday night. There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Scattered light snow showers early tonight, otherwise cloudy with a low temperature of 11, and winds out of the north at 15 to 30 miles an hour. On Saturday, sunshine with a high temperature of 24 degrees and north winds at 5 to 10. Sunday, partly sunny with a high temperature around 30. Monday, sunshine with a high of 43. Tuesday, we'll see a slight chance of rain with a high temperature of 44. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 32.
If you're looking to purchase a home after a divorce, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Today, meet Charlie, field technician, income $100,000 a year, had an amicable divorce from his wife. Charlie wanted to purchase a home while he was in the middle of a Chapter 13 bankruptcy to be close to his 3 kids, so he called Team Hochberg for a free consultation. Great move. Team Hochberg loan officer John Hendrickson answered Charlie's questions, secured a bankruptcy court approval so Charlie could purchase a new home to be close to his 3 kids. Let's review. Team Hochberg loan officer Johnny Hendrickson helped Charlie purchase a new home after his divorce while in the middle of a bankruptcy so he could be close to his 3 kids. Team Hochberg's helped thousands of listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That number again is 855-563-2843 or visit that website you know and love, 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, and MLS 112-4061.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing ass says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Well, hello. Thank you for joining us. And I feel like we did not do enough to thank our sponsors previously. So our guest co-host today is Dan Schaefer, the host of The Politini and Tuesdays with Josie, available wherever you listen to your podcast. Listen to that when I can breathe. I can say the things I need to, Dan. That was an aggressive first hour of the show, I'm just going to say.
Thank the sponsors, more importantly.
Yes. So go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. By the way, we have started a Kickstarter on Minocqua Brewing Company's website. You can go to Kickstarter. We are expanding the work that we do there in addition to, obviously, the great progressive brews and swag and the columns that we do for the Substack. We want to create a marketplace that challenges your traditional places. By the way, Amazon, it's so weird. Like, I consider that traditional now because we've relied on it for over 20 years. It started out, isn't this crazy? Do you remember the beginning of Amazon, or were you kind of too young to be aware? I do. I remember there was a town, I think it was in North Dakota, that was very excited because this guy who was basically selling used books, he had found that there were internet sites that were growing because they were selling books.
Correct.
That's how Amazon started.
Yes.
And so this calling, this sort of customer service location in North Dakota was expanding. They were getting all kinds of jobs. And then I honestly cannot tell you the leap from used books to everything that you want to have on your doorstep by tomorrow.
Well, it was his parents that gave him
there's that
$1 million loan.
Well, he was also a hedge fund. He was the reason he identified this marketplace was because he was a hedge fund investor.
Yeah, correct.
So he was analyzing the trends. And some people are great at that. Some people are like, oh, you know what I just noticed? And the sort of veneer of, we thought he was one of the guys who was invested in.
Just like Mark Zuckerberg or
any of those guys.
Everybody thought that they created this fortune. It's actually, you got a loan from mommy and daddy.
I mean,
also the president of the United States.
I mean, just saying.
What was it? It was $400
million, I think.
I thought it was 10.
Oh, whatever.
Okay,
it was.
Could be wrong, but no, I think it was 10. But when you actually do the time value of money, it was $400 million.
He should have made that much, and
he also
kept going bankrupt.
He bankrupted the Kennedy Center. How do you bankrupt the Kennedy Center?
Do you know? For folks who don't realize and have not heard this, there's several things that have happened in the last week or so. So the Kennedy Center is being shut down for renovations. Do you know when the renovations were last done on the Kennedy Center?
I do not.
2019.
So they clearly need 2 years just to shut down after putting a name on there, and everyone's like, no, I'm good.
Do you know he also is demanding that his name be also displayed on Penn Station in New York, as well as Dulles Airport, in order for funding for infrastructure to continue?
I saw that.
Yeah.
Schumer, it was $16 million or something.
Something crazy.
Yeah.
So at any rate, those are the crazy things that are happening. Those are so Minocqua Brewing Company trying to challenge our tendencies to go to Walmart, to Target, to Amazon. We are trying to create a marketplace where you can go shopping there and get the items that you need. So go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. flagship sponsor of Driving at Home, Patti Vasquez. We also have our friends at Source Solar. Go to source.solar. Maybe put an appointment in with Peter Sorellis. See if it's time to get solar panels on your house or business. Dan Schaefer and his husband, Jim, are very happy with their solar panels.
We love it.
I'm just saying. If you like pulling out your app, how are you doing with your solar, your energy usage?
We're doing great.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
These are good things.
Even in the winter, it's not terrible.
These are things to look into. We also want to thank, that's source.solar. Make an appointment with Peter Sorellis. And spring is right around the corner, so now is the time to get the ball rolling. You can also go to pridecoffeeroasters.com. That's pridecoffeeroasters.com. And you can order their single origin beans that are roasted to order. My favorite right now happens to be the Mexico. I know.
Really?
I'm a little particular. We have Honduras, we have Nicaraguan, we have all the wonderful blends. So go to pridecoffeeroasters.com. You can put in an order for a bean subscription. And if you do a bean subscription, you can have it either delivered to your home or from a pickup location in the Chicagoland area. Every month you'll receive one of their signature single origin bags of coffee along with another bag of their fun featured blends. So you can just click on the button and you'll find out more about that incredible opportunity. Again, pridecoffeeroasters.com. And they also have their schedule right there where they'll be in the Chicagoland area, including Edgewater Indoor Market at Broadway Armory on the 14th of this month. So Valentine's Day, you can go and pick up some of your...
That's coming up, isn't it?
It really is. Do you have any plans?
God,
yeah, me
no.
neither. I know. Same thing. And they'll be there as well on the February 28th. So go to pridecoffeeroasters.com, and I will be at the in-person event at Copernicus Center on Sunday, March 22nd. We have a listener who's trying to join our conversation as we broadcast here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 in Seattle, and KTNF AM 950 in Minneapolis. Hi, our friends. Guess who's on the line? It's Judy from Niles. Hey, Judy, what's on your mind, my friend?
Hi, I almost missed it today. Senior moment. I had it all marked down, but I just walked in my bedroom and turned it on, and there it was. Oh my God! I'm so glad that I didn't miss this.
I think you're bearing the lead. What did you almost miss? Because I think you didn't.
The forum.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, and I just. Even after all this craziness, I recognized normal. It was so nice to listen to three people who tried to follow the rules and answered more or less normal. Everything, they were trying. And I thought, this is so refreshing. I love this.
Aww.
It's an embarrassment of riches, I think. Any of them would.
Joan said that, embarrassment of riches. That was it. Actually what we have. Yeah. Whether you agree with everything that people were saying, we have people that are smart and equipped, and they can figure out what to do with the state and represent the state on the federal level.
And they really want to, and they're going to try, and different ideas, at different times. But wow, I didn't think I would recognize normal again, but I have.
It's a good feeling, isn't it?
You know what's funny? Everybody talks.
All of a sudden, I was sitting there and just kind of relaxing and listening, and I thought, oh, this is a different feeling.
It's everybody gives Illinois a bad rap, but I'm like, what? At some point we have some decent people that know how to run government, how to be, it's
I am so happy that we're here. I mean, especially this last year. I really am. Of course, Runner almost drove me insane.
Well,
but...
he was,
I know. Yeah, he is terrible.
Well, Judy, what did I tell you when you and I were having lunch? As long as our governors stay out of jail, you're technically winning.
Oh, God.
And
so crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I have one personal thing to say. I got a call. My cousins called me and told me that my other cousin just died, I believe, yesterday.
I'm sorry.
But what I want to say is, if you have if you haven't spoken to someone in a while, call them. I talked to him twice this year, and I'm so happy that I was able to do that. I had 2 phone calls with him this year where we laughed and talked, and he was one of the cousins that I thought was a Republican, and I asked him straight out. I called him up and said, first place, you have to yell at him because he doesn't like to answer his phone. So I get in, and the thing comes on, and I say, Dennis, pick up that phone.
Oh.
So he did, and I said, I'm going to just confront you. Why do you vote that way? And he said, I don't know. He said, I guess because my parents did, or my mother did.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, come on. And he said, but wait a minute. He said, that doesn't mean that I like what's going on here. I don't like this guy.
Right.
And we got it all straightened out. We laughed and talked, and I found out which of his children went which way. And I said, this is so nice. Now I don't have to worry about if I said something, because, when you're all crammed in a couple of cottages, you have to really be, you have to adhere to that. Don't say anything. Because,
sure, you're in close quarters and limited time, and it's hard to, believe me, I have been in those situations. Judy,
I can tell that.
Yeah. I gotta get to a break here soon. Thank you so much for joining us for the conversation, my friend. It's so great to hear from you. Are you changing your fitted sheets this weekend?
No.
Okay.
I did this week. I changed the top sheet. I had changed the bottom sheet one other day, and then we got pressed for time, and I left it. So the middle of this week, I changed the top sheet.
Just saying,
So,
I'll never not think of fitted sheets without when I talk to you.
Thing.
I know. Little by little, right? I agree.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend, Judy. Always
You
lovely to talk
too.
to you. Thank you.
You too, Dan. Say hello to Jim.
Oh, I will, definitely. Nice to see you, Judy.
Bye, Judy.
Bye-bye.
Let's take a break here. We are we are broadcasting on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150 and KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Dan Schaefer joins me in the studio, host of Politini and Tuesdays with Josie, available wherever you listen to podcasts. Dan, let's talk a little bit about the forum, and then we'll welcome in studio. We have a guest coming in studio.
Yeah.
I feel very special that they wanted to come here.
I mean,
I'm grateful for that. Melissa Villanueva will join us. She's a candidate for DuPage County Board District 1 at 6:30. But let's decompress. Let's debrief about what happened today, because I feel like we've.
Can you tell me your thoughts, please?
Yeah, sure.
Because you were like, I was in the back row.
Mm-hmm.
You were on the stage.
It was one of the. I will say
What were
this.
your thoughts?
I will tell you when we come back. My thoughts on WCPT, KKNW, and KTNF.
Okay.
More in a moment.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Around the world, the rate of high blood pressure in kids has nearly doubled over the last 20 years. That's right. High blood pressure isn't just something adults need to worry about. And the earlier someone develops hypertension and the longer they have it, the greater their risk of heart disease later in life. The authors of a new global study out of China told us that the good news is this is a very modifiable risk. With better screening, early detection, and a stronger focus on prevention, especially healthy weight and nutrition, we can intervene before complications arise. So, start by paying attention to your child's blood pressure reading at the next doctor's appointment. If it is high, it is time to work to bring it down, even at a young age, by making changes to their diet, less sodium, fewer ultra-processed foods, as well as more exercise and better sleep. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including...
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
Hey, so you know I drink coffee every single day, and if you do as well, make it mean something. Pride Coffee Roasters is a LGBTQ plus owned, women owned, and Mexican owned, by the way, right here in Chicago. They roast every batch fresh to order with beans sourced from places like Peru, Rwanda, Mexico, the Dominican Republic, and more. We're talking craft coffee that actually tastes like someone cares. You can travel the world one cup at a time and support a small business that brews with pride. Seriously. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com. That's PRIDE, coffeeroasters.com, and brew your beans with pride. That's my live read I've just written for pridecoffeeroasters.com. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com. We had our incredible Senate forum today at the Plumbers Union Hall, Plumbers Union 130. Dan Schaefer was in the audience. Thank you for coming out today. That's a long day. I didn't realize that till I got here. Everyone's like, I can't believe you're doing the show. I'm like, no, I can do this. And I'm like, I have to go to bed now. I am so tired. It was a lot.
I'm surprised they let me in, but yeah.
Okay, so going into the forum, right? There's a lot of candidates running. In addition to the top three, there are other candidates, including Kevin Ryan, who has been traveling the state by bus that he renovated to visit every county in the state of Illinois. We've had him on the air. He's also advertising with us, and he elevates some of the issues. We brought the issues to the candidates who are the front runners. Did you have any sort of preconceptions going into this event today, Dan?
I did.
Okay. Did you have any? You have to tell me your favorites, but did you think you had a leader that was in your mind that changed during the forum?
I don't even tell my husband who I vote for.
Really?
So I don't know. Not at all. That is my right. Nobody needs to know that.
Okay.
We're on the same page. I mean, so we both know. We
Sure.
kind of look at each other and we're like, yeah, okay.
But for a Dem primary, it's a little bit tougher.
Yeah, but honestly, we are able to know that we're like, without even talking to each other, we just know that it's always the same person. It's always the same person.
Interesting.
It's why I married him. It's it's just we just have the same values, and it's always the same person.
Can I ask you something? Because someone came up to me at the end and said and I hate to do this. You're gay, so tell me what you think. I hate doing that.
Well, you see him at the meetings. I mean, it's kind of yeah.
So someone came out to me and they wished that we had asked an LGBTQ plus question, and it was in the rotation, but we didn't make it to that because of time. Is that something that rises to the level of, like, with the cost of things, with healthcare, I think we're in a place now as a woman who believes strongly in abortion rights. Like, I'm at the point now where I don't even think about that because I assume all Democrats are on the same page.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yes. I've on abortion rights, I will never have to have an abortion, but I will defend anybody's right to have one.
Mm-hmm.
I will never need one, but I will defend to the. It's kind of like freedom of speech, right? I will defend to the death,
even if you
the
disagree
right.
on what you say, right?
It's not my. If you need to do that, do it. That's cool.
It's interesting because your opinion, the opinion of someone who doesn't have to have an abortion, is actually First Amendment and not. But there is no amendment for a woman's ability to have autonomy.
Correct. Yes.
Interesting. Yes.
But what I've found is when you go back to like women's right to vote or women's right to get a credit card without having their husband.
Since the 70s, we just got
Correct.
that. No one
but
realizes
but
that.
Women, they forged forward, okay? But it took men as allies to support them. And that is where, that's why I equate it to the LGBT community. The LGBT community was like, we need rights, we need to marry, but there were straight allies that supported them. And it's kind of the same way with women, with abortion, or just like I said before, getting a credit card or signing a loan or getting a car loan or without your husband's signature. It took allies to do that. And I think that's where we are at now. We need allies to support individuals that are feeling marginalized.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people that are feeling marginalized right now. And it's, I mean, we talked about ICE earlier. You just need to have a friend. You need to somebody that supports you. That's where I'm at.
So when you came into the forum today, and you don't tell me what your sort of, your ranking was, because I think people have changed. Some people have changed their ranking off of this forum, which is impressive. And thank you for everyone who tuned in and your thoughts, and the folks who were in person and those who listened. And you have the opportunity to watch that again. It's available on WCPT's Facebook page and YouTube. Did you change your mind at all today?
I did.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, really?
I didn't have an opinion. I had a front runner, kind of, that was not on the stage, and I thought, I did not expect this change for me.
I did. I did. Yeah. And my concern is that this individual that I now love doesn't have the resources to actually succeed. Now it's a challenge. And so now it's a challenge to make sure that this person gets at least some access to resources to succeed. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know, but no, my mind was changed today.
Yeah, and somebody texted in. I don't know if I can find the text. Debate was great, and I appreciate that. Someone was asking if perhaps one of the candidates understood what a PAC or super PAC was, and I don't know. And so I have done this as far as being involved in races and understanding the inside perspective of raising money since 2019. So I ran for office in 2019.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned about people who were wealthy, who self-funded or had the ear of very wealthy people.
Correct.
And so I think that saying well, you're taking money from a super PAC or corporations, I think that's also how, the billionaires and the millionaires who think you should be in power. It's the question isn't are you taking money from them? It is, what is that going to entail? What are you required from them? Is it just keeping your door open for the conversation, or is it answering to them on how you vote on issues?
Correct.
That's the issue. That's the point, I think.
So they were talking about this new bill, the SAVE Act that they're trying to push through the House.
Right.
Which is to prevent voter fraud, which voter fraud is 0.00001%.
I mean, come on now.
Voter suppression is a lot more. But it's who buys your vote. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's where I'm. There are individuals who would like to maintain their $175,000 a year salary, plus pension, plus insurance, plus whatever. And at that point, they will be, yeah, okay, cool. Well, yeah, that sounds great. We'll do that. But they're not acting in the best interest of their constituents, my opinion, not opinions of WCPT. But that is my opinion, is that they are acting in their own career trajectory, and they are not acting in their own constituents' best interests, my opinion.
It is an important race for everyone in the state of Illinois. And I wish that I had gotten to my questions about the Supreme Court, because our sitting senator, let's just leave it at that. Let's take a break here. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
Right, we'll leave it at that.
I'm sorry, Dick. At any rate, let's take a break here. Dick Durbin, that's his name.
I thought you just called me.
I'm
kidding.
I just think things could have been different over the last few years when it comes to judicial
we can talk
loose
about
lips and the Supreme Court and all those things. We're going to switch gears and we're going to go local again. We're talking to Melissa Villanueva, who's running for DuPage County District Board 1 in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150, and KTF AM 950 in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Joining me in the studio is Dan Schaefer, the host of Politini and Tuesdays with Josie, wherever you listen to your podcast. More in a moment. Thank you for being here.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Scattered light snow showers early tonight, otherwise cloudy with a low temperature of 11, and winds out of the north at 15 to 30 miles an hour. On Saturday, sunshine with a high temperature of 24 degrees and north winds at 5 to 10. Sunday, partly sunny with a high temperature around 30. Monday, sunshine with a high of 43. Tuesday, we'll see a slight chance of rain with a high temperature of 44. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 32.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
This Valentine's Day, create a space that feels warm and welcoming with help from Menards. Whether it's a small refresh or a big project, Menards has the tools and materials you need. Build something together and make your home a place you both love coming back to. Don't forget the sweets for your sweetheart. Get a 6-ounce bag of Russell Stover chocolate candies for $3.99 now through February 14th. Save big money and finish your projects together at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Kohl's gets it. Valentine's Day comes with expectations. Grand expectations, telepathic expectations, and heart-shaped everything expectations. Yes, even waffles. Kohl's has gifts that rise to the occasion. From romantic to playful, sparkly to sweet, or all of the above. Plus, get 15% off some of your finds. So go ahead, exceed those Valentine's Day expectations with Kohl's. Select styles, offer ends February 16th. Some exclusions apply. See store, kohls.com for details.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Union Strong Chicago continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversity Beer, Wine, and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine, and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
Welcome back to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
We are driving it home. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello to our friends listening on KKNW 1150 in Seattle, KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Those folks are fighting the good fight. We thought it would be us. It's Minneapolis. It's when you do Midwest nice and you're like, I'm going to go ahead and boycott, protest, and be in the streets. And we are with you. Joining me in the studio is guest co-host Dan Schaefer, the host of Politini and Tuesdays with Josie, available wherever you listen to your podcast. And joining us in the studio is our featured guest, Melissa Villanueva, candidate for DuPage County Board District 1. She's a small business owner, and I met her this Sunday at the Addison Township Democrats event, the brunch, which was fantastic. Hi.
What's up, Patty? So good to see you again.
Yes. Okay. So when we met, you are a force of nature. Like, Dan, when you meet somebody, and don't say me, but somebody else, you've met forces of nature.
You are a force of nature.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. Melissa has created one of the fastest growing small businesses in the country.
Yes.
She's like, yes, I have. Okay. So tell us about yourself. Where did you grow up, my friend?
Sure. I grew up in Bartlett, Palatine, the western suburbs of Chicago. I'm now in Elmhurst, Illinois, and the way that I got to Elmhurst is a pretty fascinating story.
I love this. Tell us.
Okay, so 11 years ago, I was looking on Craigslist for an espresso machine. I thought maybe someday I would, want to open a coffee shop. I wanted to tinker around, and I ended up finding this coffee shop on Craigslist instead.
I'm sorry, you wanted an espresso machine?
Yes.
And you saw a coffee shop instead?
Yes.
Okay, carry on.
And then there was just something gutturally about it that I was just like, this feels like dangerous. I tell my 6-month boyfriend, he's here in the room, now
Hello.
husband, and he's just like, we should go meet them. We should go figure it out. Like, you want to open a coffee shop someday, you should talk to them. And I was like, oh, you don't know me yet. Like, if I want something, this is a dangerous thing to start toying around with, because I got no money in the bank at this point. And we go see this coffee shop on Craigslist, and both of our stomachs drop. We're like literally sitting on a bench in the park being like felt like we got ran over by a train, because it just felt like this opportunity was too good to pass up. And within a month, we figured out how to get the money to start it. We had no business plan, very little experience in the coffee industry, but we were dedicated to getting a little bit better every single day. Fast forward now, I have 3 coffee shops, coffee manufacturing, and we're a progressive beacon in DuPage County.
Holy cats. And it's kind of thing where when we talked this past Saturday, we talked about a place where community can gather.
Yeah.
And you also envisioned that and have brought it to life. Tell us about that.
That has always been like the core of it, right? Because when I was in corporate America, I was a philosophy major in college. Let me go back.
I'm sorry, philosophy to corporate America.
Yes.
As you do. As Lady B, as you do. Philosophy, corporate America. 1,000%. Yes, go ahead.
No, so even more fascinating, I went to Wheaton College, an evangelical conservative college, as a philosophy major. And then
do they allow that?
I mean, I do exist.
If that
so I
is
think
okay
so.
with them?
I am
if
here.
this, then that? Okay,
Yes.
go ahead. Continue. Yeah.
And then while I was there, I did door-to-door sales as an internship, because I was like, what am I going to do with all this debt from a philosophy major? So I did door-to-door sales, ended up being number 4 in the country. So I was like weirdly good at it.
What were you selling?
Books. I wanted to make a joke there, but books.
No.
Yeah, educational books.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't ring my bell. I would have bought something for you. 1,000%.
No,
Okay,
they ship you to a different state, so you're not even in Illinois.
So you're like a Mormon selling books. What's happening?
All
No, seriously,
right.
you're on a bike with
All
a back.
right.
By the way, I'm a
let's-
recovering
okay.
Mormon. You don't have to be like
Oh
uncomfortable.
my gosh!
Yes, so go
I
ahead.
love. I get.
Yes.
I get you. I
Carrie,
get you.
I'm just saying.
Mhm.
So they ship you to another state to sell books.
Yeah, so I was in North Carolina, and then my second summer I was in California. But I made enough money to like pay for liberal arts college year by year. So when I graduated, I got business offers. So I ended up being a recruiter for a financial firm. For the first couple of years, I was just like, I feel like I'm checking off all the boxes of what success feels like after college, but I'm still unhappy. Like, what's wrong with me? Am I just like an entitled millennial? And I met this guy, and this guy pointing to husband.
This guy, come on.
This guy. And the first like real conversation we have, I'm telling him how I feel about my work, and he's like, sometimes the universe is waiting for you to pull the trigger. And I take that as my sign to quit my job, go to the Philippines, and figure out what I want to do with my life. I'm Filipino American, but I've never been. And so I go there for 3 months on this self-discovery trip. I got hit by this vision to open a coffee shop because it's a foot in the door to build community. And I tell him I want to open the shop. And the first week I get back from the Philippines, that's when I'm looking on Craigslist for that espresso machine.
It's
wild.
said coffee shop.
And
it was your first one. Okay, so when you start this, I mean, like, what? So you're like, okay, we're gonna serve coffee and pastry. Like, what's the first thing you do without a business experience?
Yeah,
without running a shop like this.
The first thing you do is clean it. You're just like
Flush it.
Yeah, just cleanse it.
Yeah.
Yes, it was like literally we bought on August 28th, 2014.
Okay.
And then we opened it September 2nd.
Oh my God.
So we literally all we did was clean
on whatever you're cleaning. Yes.
Exactly. And yeah, so we just went all in. The first thing we did was like figure out a menu, how to have a point of sale system. But really it was just like, we were slow enough when we bought the shop. That shop was doing $180 a day, which is not enough to make ends meet by any means. Right. But it means that I'm slow enough to be able to multitask during the day to figure out how to get better. And that's what we did. We were also fortunate that the previous owners lived above the coffee shop, so that apartment came open. And so we had that coffee shop dream, like right away.
Oh my God.
Yep, that was pretty beautiful. It still is, but it's evolved a lot at this point.
Okay, so you open the shop. How do you grow from that to now owning several coffee shops and brew? And you also serve
roast coffee.
Yeah.
And we do serve beer, wine, cocktails, charcuterie. Yeah.
Hello.
We have fun.
We will visit these locations, is all I'm saying. Yes. I've never been a charcuterie board. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah. No, we're doing a lot of night events, and we do weddings. Like we literally, it's really cute because if you think about it, people have their first date at like a coffee shop, and then they can get engaged in coffee shop, and then they get married at said coffee shop. And so we've had.
Sorry, how many weddings have you had that you're saying said coffee shop? Because I'm saying yours is the said one.
Yes. At Brew Point, we've had maybe like over a dozen.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
beautiful.
Lovely. What a great legacy.
Yeah, truly a part of the community. So it's wonderful.
So as a business owner, their business. So you have your funnel cake business, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so did you in the same? You weren't like, who has oil?
No. So I this was my like high school business or job. So I would make funnel cakes for it. And then we got to the point where the owners wanted to retire. I went to my husband and I was like, all right, so listen, we're going to buy a business. I need you to pay for half of it. I was like, you know nothing about this.
Yeah.
I was like, but we just need to do it.
Yes, he's laughing.
But we just need to do it.
Yes.
And my husband is the most selfless. And he's like, okay, all right, let's do it. And we were having so much fun. This was in 2012 that we bought the business. And he's doing new recipes. He's doing all this stuff. Like, and your point about community is we literally go to our normal spots and everybody needs to see us there.
Yeah.
And this is just summer stuff. So it's once a year, twice a year, October, August, July. And but everyone's like, oh, good, thank God you're here.
Yeah.
And it's it.
You must have that in your community too. Thank God you're here for both of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's so good. It's the service community. It's like people need to see you.
Yeah.
Especially in today's times. It's like you need that comfort, right? And so that's why I will, even though I'm not as young as I used to be.
None of us are.
Yeah, same.
The days are longer than they are. But just seeing people there, like, and they're like, oh, you're here. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's it.
No, that's super beautiful.
Yeah.
And one thing I would say about that too is that like where you're located and what town you're situated in. I'm really grateful that we ended up in Elmhurst. One thing I'll mention is that when I first looked on Craigslist, I thought it said Evanston, and so I was like, so I was telling Angela, I was just
kind
like,
of
there's a
far
coffee shop.
apart.
Yeah, it's a coffee shop in Evanston. Evanston's cool, and I end up in Elmhurst, and I like know nothing about Elmhurst. And I've been to the library once. It's a great library, and we once we bought the shop and we're getting in the community. I was like, oh, this is fine. It's just it was a little homogenous, and it was just like values wise, just wasn't 100% like aligned. But that being said, I had a good friend sit me down because I was like, I'll have this shop, but maybe I'll open another shop in Oak Park or somewhere close to the city where there's more diversity. And she was just like, Melissa, you could do that, but you won't stand out the way that you could in Elmhurst. And if you really invest in this community, like the people you're looking for are just looking for a space, and they'll come out. And I feel like that has been just such a beautiful part of what we've been able to be a part of.
And I think that I'm struggling with that, which is like, I'm a stand-up comic, and, what was the Michael Jordan thing? Republicans buy shoes too, right?
Correct.
That's the thing. Only we're not casting a net in the ocean. We are trying to catch. We want people who need the support, and we don't have to align with us, but there are people who are drawn to the work that we do.
Yeah.
Right. It's like it's the idea. Like, well, if people like align with us, sure. Maybe they'll come to us, but if people are like seeking that out, as they are in Elmhurst, we know from DuPage County that there's so much power in providing a space for so many voices.
Yeah,
and you're a part of that.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
I love that. We are talking to our friend Melissa Villanueva, who's running for DuPage County Board District 1. We'll talk more about the work that she's done, as well as, by the way, it's funny, I have all these notes, and yet not the name. I feel like I don't have the name of Melissa for DuPage, but not your shop.
Yeah, Brew Point Coffee.
Brew Point. Literally, I was giving all these notes, and I met you on Saturday. I'm like, Brew Point Coffee seems like that should be like the number one thing.
Yes.
Brew Point Coffee. No, not you. Everyone, no, you're not the one doing the research here. Brew Point Coffee, you have 3 locations.
Yes.
And I knew that because we met on Saturday. It was lovely to meet you.
What are the 3 locations?
They're all in Elmhurst. We buckled down.
Good.
So we have our original shop that we found on Craigslist. And then we renovated a 4,000 square foot loading dock on North Elmhurst.
As you should.
Yes, right? Part coffee shop, part event space.
Why wouldn't you?
I love you. He's like laughing behind you.
Do you have space for a production, like a theater production in this warehouse space?
We've worked with theaters where they've done shows in our space.
Let's talk after this. I have something I need to talk to you about.
Also, if you wanted to do a drag show.
Oh my God! So
let's do it.
Melissa Villanueva, candidate for DuPage County Board District 1. Melissa for DuPage.com. More in a moment on WCPT 820 AM and KTF AM 950, KKNW 1150 with our guest co-host Dan Schaefer. More in a moment. Thank you for joining us.
Tom Hartman.
Autocrats generally, particularly those autocrats who have narcissistic personality disorder and are sociopaths, as is, in my opinion, Trump, typically do not tolerate high-profile people around them. They want to be the star of the show, and that's certainly been the history of Donald Trump. The only people that he will tolerate around him are people who, when he says, kiss my ass, they fall to their knees.
The Tom Hartman Radio Program, weekdays 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
WCPT Replay.
John Fugelsang. Listen, y'all, the dude wrote a book
called Separation of Church and Hate. What a great title. Tell us a little bit what's happening in that space.
Well, and I'm so grateful to you and all the deeply attractive listeners of WCPT for supporting this book. So I wrote this book years ago about how to use the Bible for believers and atheists, because even if you don't believe in Jesus, if you're debating a right-wing Christian on any of the issues that divide us, Jesus is probably on your side, whether he's a literal figure or not. They don't care about the teachings of Jesus. They don't care about religious freedom. They don't give a damn what God tells you to do in the Bible. They care about conservative Christian power. That's it. Jesus' movement was all about humanity and all about humility. He was not about total right-wing domination of the school board.
Keep listening to WCPT 820. Because facts matter.
Not all people are the same. And yet, when we visit the doctor, our treatments don't look that different. Why is that? Because we just don't have enough information to do it better. By gathering health data from 1 million people, our country's best researchers will be able to develop treatments that are as unique and complex as we are. With this new information, doctors will have a better understanding of disease so they can innovate the next great breakthroughs in medicine. Learn more at joinallofus.org.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
Welcome back to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us on this lovely Friday evening as we wrap up our day of our Senate Forum at the Plumbers Hall, Local 130. It was a wonderful event. Dan Schaefer co-hosted with me tonight. And now we have in studio with us Melissa Villanueva, who's a candidate for DuPage County Board District 1. She's also a small business owner in Elmhurst. And so what made you decide to run for office after running this successful coffee shop business?
That's always a great question. So as a small business owner, you're an ecosystem builder, right? You're trying to build sustainable systems while matching your values, trying to be human centered. For me, it's progressive in values. And I feel like I've been able to do that with Brewpoint. And then, when I think about where needs these skills more than ever, it's government, being able to build systems and be progressive in values and execute it well. I mean, that's been the thought process. So I've been thinking about running ever since 2020. And then when Trump got reelected, I was spinning out and it was like, I'm either going all in or the opposite of all in.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah. I did the same thing. So in 2016 was when I decided to run for office. I ran for state rep, and I felt the same way. It's like, how is this the direction our country's going in? Or for you, it's your community. Yeah. Like, DuPage County has done a great job of highlighting what's important to Americans, or not even Americans, just to human beings, is what Reed McCollum and the candidates, everyone that's been running for office, the messaging. So with this, so tell people who aren't familiar with a county board position, what do you envision your role being to serve your community?
So the county board is a fiscal responsibility role. So essentially we manage people's taxpayer dollars. So whether that is your property tax dollars or your sales tax dollars, we handle a $660 million budget towards social services, transportation.
Can you just repeat that?
660 million.
Thank you.
We're the second biggest and populous county in the state.
Holy moly.
And so, it's kind of a big deal. And you really want to make sure that whoever is in this position knows how to handle finances responsibly, that can manage a budget, that can stretch a dollar. And you want to know that they will stand up for what they believe in and have the courage to do that and make that connection.
Amazing. And when you talk to voters, like, they probably, what we've learned is they're not sure what a board member does. So what are those conversations like? What's important to the voters that you're talking to?
At the end of the day, it's affordability. I mean, I think that's what we're hearing nationwide, let alone in individual states or counties or cities. And so what can the county do in regards to affordability? I think that, when it comes to like my special skill set, right? So I'm not just a small business owner. I'm also a seasoned economic development commissioner for the city of Elmhurst. And I've been an entrepreneur in resident for Innovation DuPage. So what that essentially means is that I haven't just hit success metrics as a business owner. And just to give some quick context, only 10% of businesses make it to $1 million in revenue in a given year. And out of that 10%, only 2% of that 10%, so I don't even know what the math of that is.
You're at like a 0.001.
Yes, is owned by women.
Yeah.
And then only 20% of that 2% of the 10% is owned by women of color. And so I'm the 0.0004% of like success metrics of women of color in small business owners.
Yeah, that's how. Yeah.
Yep. And so with all that being said, the equity standpoint, right, is like an important piece. And that's the work I've been doing for the past 7-8 years after I got a little success with my business is how do I bring others up with me? I helped women and minority owners get nearly $1 million in grants through the work I've been doing in my county. So all that being said, like when it comes to managing this budget, if I can help grow the revenue by doing economic development really well, then we can have the additional budget needed that as all the federal tax dollars are getting cut and people from our community are starting to fall through the cracks, so think like SNAP benefits, then the county can step in and say, we have this extra fund to be able to ensure that no one falls through the cracks in our community. And that's the work I seek to do.
By the way, that is a philosophy major. I'm just saying, for folks who are like, liberal arts, creating an enterprise, basically an empire. Mm-hmm. I love it. She's like, yes, I have, but empire, but bringing people with you is not necessarily an empire, because we see at the national level they want to have a feudal system. And you don't see it that way. You see it a way of uplifting everyone in order to succeed in a way that supports the services that are important to our communities.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of times people are like, there's good things about being a business owner when going into politics, but there's also some hesitation, especially what we see at the federal level. And I think it's because business owners can often only and mainly focus on profit, right? Profit for themselves. But if you're a coffee shop owner, a small business owner, and really the work of government, it's always about service. It's always about how can I serve the community?
I'm sorry, when you say it's always about service, you're saying from folks who come from your point of view, because we've talked about this. We don't need more billionaires. Do you see yourself I need a yacht that fits in my other yacht.
No.
So I can fire 700 journalists from my newspaper. Right?
No. It's about fair and equitable systems.
I can pull the billionaire.
Yeah.
It's a yacht, right?
Right.
If everybody is supporting everybody,
yes,
we all float. And
we're
it's
all
fine.
buying coffee
and it's fine.
beer.
And
if
it's
we can
good.
afford it. Yes.
And it's fine.
Yes.
It's just because some business is doing better than others and this and that. If we also just support each other, we're fine. We're good.
Yeah.
And we need to do that.
Yeah.
And there needs to be more of that.
And do you find more of that in the network of entrepreneurs that you have in Elmhurst and beyond?
I mean, I think that, if you don't see it, you build it, right? And so I've built some of the biggest entrepreneurship groups in DuPage County. I have an event series called Makers and Shakers that brings 200 small business owners from all the Chicagoland area into DuPage. I've been doing it since 2019. And that's the community that we're building, right? And so because it's not just about what can I build, it's about how can I change my community over time.
I want to be your friend.
I was saying, I want to move to DuPage. I'm just saying, between the work you're doing and all the people I've met and Reed McCullum, I want to move to DuPage. I'm just saying, I love my city, but also hello.
Well, let me know.
I'm just,
I'll help you.
She's like, I know some property for sale.
Let's become neighbors.
I'm just looking for an espresso maker. Oh, here's a 2-flat. What's happening in DuPage County? All right. So for folks who are, voting in this primary, by the way, early voting has started. February 5th was yesterday. You can early vote now. We're talking about down ballot voting, right? And people don't look at board. They don't even know the townships, the board members. So tell people about the role you would play and your platform for them to vote for you in DuPage County.
Yeah.
District 1.
Absolutely. So, I mean, specifically, my role is I'm running for the DuPage County Board, District 1. There's 18 county board members in DuPage, 3 per district. When we're in District 1. My district of District 1 is more, even though DuPage at large has become blue, our district is still majority red. And so we also have one of the lowest turnouts in our district. So I am in a race with 2 others in the primary because the Republican who's currently holding the seat is retiring. And so we just have a major opportunity to flip a red seat blue. And then, I'm also going to advocate for this myself of just like, I do believe I'm the person that can do that, right? Because it's not guaranteed. I'm a small business owner. I understand the finance side, but I'm also been someone who has been constantly progressive in my values. And every time the moment has called for it with my small business, I've taken stands. And so all that being said, that's the seat that I'm running for.
I love it. Go to melissafordupage.com, melissafordupage.com. Again, Brew Point are her wonderful shops in Elmhurst. She has 3 of them. She's been uplifting other business owners. We have to run. Lady B's like, get off the air.
Yeah, she's
Dan Schaefer, host of the Politini. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Melissa. Again, Melissa Villanueva, candidate for DuPage County Board District 1. We want to have you back in studio. Lady B, I love you. Great work today. Bye, everyone. Good night.
Kohl's gets it. Valentine's Day comes with expectations, grand expectations, telepathic expectations, and heart-shaped everything expectations. Yes, even waffles. Kohl's has gifts that rise to the occasion, from romantic to playful, sparkly to sweet, or all of the above. Plus, get 15% off some of your finds. So go ahead, exceed those Valentine's Day expectations with Kohl's. Select styles, offer ends February 16th. Some exclusions apply. See store, kohls.com for details.
What's on your to-do list? Check your mail? Get groceries? How about getting your annual vaccines? We can help you check that off.
You've got this.
Yes, you do. Because we've got you. With local vaccine events and access to transportation, protecting yourself and your loved ones is not a chore anymore. You've got